Hey everyone, and welcome to This Explainer. Today, we are going to completely shatter the myth that negotiation is all about winning or losing. We're diving deep into some seriously powerful insights from William Ury and Roger Fisher. They're the founders of the Harvard Negotiation Project and the minds behind the absolute classic book, Getting to Yes. So if you've ever felt that pit in your stomach before a negotiation, or felt like your only two options were being a total pushover or being a huge jerk, well, you are in the right place. We're going to rebuild your entire approach to getting what you want.
Listen to this quote from the source material. If you're asking who is winning, you've already lost. Just think about that for a second. We are so hardwired to view negotiations as this intense battlefield, right? Like one person walks away the glorious victor and the other is totally defeated. But this quote, it's a massive paradigm shift. It basically tells us that the entire premise of a win-lose battle is fundamentally flawed right out of the gate.
So that begs the question, what exactly is a negotiation about then? If we aren't trying to crush the person sitting across the table from us, what on earth are we actually trying to achieve? Well, let's challenge those preconceived notions for a minute with a really brilliant analogy that redefines the whole goal.
Picture this. Two kids are endlessly arguing over an orange. A parent walks in, wants to be perfectly fair, grabs a knife and cuts the orange exactly in half. A perfect 50-50 split. Seems super fair, right? Well, kid number 1 eats the fruit inside and tosses the peel in the trash. Kid number 2 takes their half, uses the peel to bake a cake, and throws the actual fruit away. If the parent had just paused and asked why they wanted the orange in the first place, one kid could have had 100% of the fruit and the other could have had 100% of the peel. Instead, they both settled for 50% when they literally could have had everything they wanted.
To help us avoid that exact 50-50 trap, here is our roadmap for today. 1. The zero-sum myth. 2. The 4-step framework. 3. Dealing with difficult opponents. And 4. The ultimate goal.
All right, let's kick things off with Section 1, the zero-sum myth.
The reality is, the traditional 50-50 compromise usually just leaves everybody frustrated. What we really need to do is find mutual solutions that leave both sides happy without damaging the relationship in the process. Take the classic example of two guys arguing in a library. One wants the window open for fresh air. The other wants to close so his papers don't blow everywhere. Do they just open it halfway? No, because then it's still drafty and the papers still move. The librarian comes over, listens to them both, and goes and opens a window in the next room over. Boom, fresh air flows in, no papers blow away. Both guys are 100% happy. Or, think about sharing a cake. If you just try to eyeball a 50-50 cut, someone is inevitably going to feel cheated. But if you let one person cut the cake and let the other person choose their slice first, you better believe the cutter's going to make it perfectly even. Mutual problem solving just works so much better than blindly splitting the difference.
Moving right along to Section 2, the 4-step framework.
So how do we actually pull this off and find these wise, practical solutions in our everyday lives? Well, the Harvard Negotiation Project has this brilliant 4-step master plan that will basically equip you to be a negotiation ninja. Step 1. Focus on interests, not positions. Step 2. Use fair standards. Step 3. Invent options for mutual gain. And Step 4. Separate the people from the problem. Let's break these down, one by one.
Step 1 is absolutely crucial. You have to understand the difference between what someone is asking for and why they are asking for it. Positions are your literal specific demands, like, I want the orange, or I want the window open. Interests, on the other hand, are the hidden kind of underlying desires driving that demand, like, I want to bake a cake, or I want some fresh air. To uncover someone's true interests, you just need to ask why. Try to genuinely see things from their perspective. When people feel like you actually understand their underlying motivations, they become so much more open to listening to yours.
Okay, Step 2, using fair standards. Look, interests are going to clash. It happens. You want lower rent, your landlord wants higher rent. When that happens, don't just bicker back and forth. Use objective criteria. These are unbiased outside rules. For example, say you're building a house, and the contractor wants to pour a 2-foot foundation, but you think a 5-foot foundation is standard. Don't just meet in the middle at 3.5 feet. That's a terrible idea. Go check the government standard specifications for the soil in your area. By shifting the focus away from a stubborn argument and toward unbiased rules or expert opinions, you actually turn a clash of egos into a shared mission to just find the right standard.
For Step 3, inventing options for mutual gain, the golden rule is simple. Brainstorm first, decide later. When you sit down at the table to find a creative solution, you have to let the ideas flow completely freely. Literally, do not judge, critique, or commit to a single idea during this first stage. You have to totally separate the brainstorming phase from the actual decision-making phase. And remember, our differences aren't the problem. Differences, like one kid wanting the peel and the other wanting the fruit, are exactly the things that lead to these amazing, mutually beneficial solutions.
Now for step 4. You have to mentally draw a line right down the middle between the human being and the problem you're trying to solve. Separate the two. Be incredibly soft on the person. Compliment them, appreciate their time, treat them with genuine kindness. But at the exact same time, be fiercely hard on the problem itself. It's so easy to get mad at the problem and end up verbally attacking the person, which obviously ruins the relationship, or the opposite happens. We want to be nice to the person, so we go soft on the problem and just cave in. Don't do either. Attack the issue fiercely, but treat the human being kindly.
And if you want proof of just how important it is to be soft on the person, get this. Multiple studies have shown that just showing up a few minutes early to chit-chat, getting to know the other side's basic likes and dislikes, and just building a little human connection, it can boost your success rate by 25 to 30%. That is massive. It is just infinitely easier to negotiate with someone you sort of know than with a total stranger.
Which brings us to section 3, dealing with difficult opponents.
Because look, it's great to talk about these collaborative theories, but we have to pressure test them against the real world. What happens when the person across the table doesn't play fair? Let's talk about dirty tactics. Lies, high-pressure situations. The secret weapon here is that simply recognizing the trick almost always neutralizes its power. If they start doing a whole good cop, bad cop routine on you, call it out. Naturally say something like, hey, it seems like you two are playing good cop, bad cop. Do you guys need a quick break to get on the same page? Just asking the question totally deflates the trick. But remember, no personal attacks. If they intentionally sit you in a chair facing the glaring sun to make you sweat, don't accuse them of being evil manipulators. Focus on the problem. Just say, hey, the sun in my eyes is super distracting. Can we shift the chairs around a bit?
But what if they aren't just tricky? What if they're actually way more powerful than you? Enter your absolute best defense mechanism, your BATNA. That stands for your best alternative to a negotiated agreement. Basically, what is your rock-solid plan B if this current negotiation completely falls apart? You have to figure this out before you even walk into the room.
Imagine how you'd feel walking into a job interview knowing you have 0 other offers on the table. You'd probably be sweating, feeling pretty desperate, and honestly, you'd likely accept whatever salary they threw at you. Now flip it. Imagine walking into that exact same interview, but you already have 2 incredible job offers waiting in your inbox. Totally different vibe, right? You're calm, you're confident. That difference is power. Real negotiation power doesn't come from being the loudest person in the room. It comes directly from how easily you can walk away to your BATNA.
Finally, what if things get heated and they start attacking you personally or tearing down your ideas? It's human nature to want to push back and defend yourself, but pushing back just creates a deadlock. Instead, use what's called negotiation jujitsu. You literally sidestep their energy using 3 counterintuitive moves. 1. Look behind their position and ask why they're rejecting your idea. 2. Ask for their advice. Seriously, say, if you were in my shoes right now, what would you do? It totally forces them to see your perspective. And 3, actively invite their criticism. Instead of getting defensive, ask them exactly what they think is wrong with your proposal. It instantly diffuses their aggression and actually helps you uncover what they really care about.
And that leads us to our final section, the ultimate goal.
All of this advice really builds toward a profound shift in how we interact with other humans. The source material wraps up with this wonderful little story. It's 1964 in Hyde Park, London. An American dad and his 12-year-old son are out there tossing a frisbee. Now, back then, hardly anyone in England had ever seen a frisbee, so a small crowd actually gathers to watch this weird plastic disc flying around. After watching for about 15 minutes, a British gentleman walks up to the dad and says, "Terribly sorry to bother you. I've been watching you for a quarter of an hour now. Who's winning?" Which leaves us with this final, incredibly provocative thought. Asking who's winning in a negotiation is exactly like asking who is winning when a father and son are tossing a frisbee in the park. Or frankly, asking who is winning in a marriage. If your entire focus is on defeating the person across from you and claiming some sort of victory, you have entirely missed the point of the interaction. The real goal isn't to defeat anyone. The goal is working together, tossing that frisbee back and forth to build a solution that actually satisfies both of your interests. When you focus on the problem instead of the person, when you dig deep to uncover the why, and when you invent options for mutual gain, everyone can genuinely walk away with exactly what they need. Thanks for joining us for this explainer. Keep asking why, keep searching for that mutual gain, and we'll see you in the next one.